I spent a few years in the Marine Corps before we met at Navy. And I was a communicator with the artillery, with the Marine Artillery, 155 millimeter howitzers. So in the couple of years before I went to Navy, I stood next to a 155 millimeter howitzer and watched about 1,000 rounds go downrange, right? And the stories that we would tell one another between the artillerymen and we guys around them, the term gun rocks was used a lot, right? And the funny thing was that the artillerymen would talk about the other artillerymen who were really dumb were the guys who'd shoot the 8-inch guns, right? And I never really made the correlation. The bigger the caliber, the dumber the rock, right? But so the question I have is around chronic exposure, right? I mean, that's a concussive blast. You're sitting right next to an artillery piece, right? So is that a thing? Is that really? Do you see a lot of artillerymen? I guess the follow-on question is there any way for those guys to protect themselves?
That's a great question. And I think the main thing is just the frequency is significant.
Daily.
I mean, if you're going out there and doing that every single day, I mean, yeah, that's going to have an effect. It's just, that's the thing. Like I mentioned with instructors, I mean, they're doing this every day. And if they're not taking the right kind of downtime, and even worse, if their peers are giving them grief for taking any kind of downtime or getting that right kind of help, because that's really been, that's just such a military mindset. I mean, I love you guys dearly, but I'm telling you, it's like people don't know when to take a break sometimes. And that's really for yourselves, because you're not going to be 100% be able to get back in the fight if you're just go, and you don't take that time to really properly heal. And in the NFL and other sports, they're also guilty of this as well. They do it all the time. They just like, patch them up, get them back out there. I mean, like hockey, before they even, there was a time when hockey didn't even wear helmets. I mean, that just blows my mind. I mean, they would literally have a doctor and sew them up if they had something and put them back out there. I'm like, whoa, that's unbelievable. So we've come a long way in understanding how the body works. And, sure, you could, if obviously in a combat situation, you do what you have to do. But if it's a training situation, you know what? I think that there has to be a better look at the frequency of when these things are happening and getting people that proper downtime, and also helping them recognize when this starts to happen, and being big enough to say, you know what, it's time for a timeout. Even just a friend of mine who's a football player is telling me that, you see sometimes these quarterbacks, like, they'll be running and they got some 300 guy coming at them, and they go off, the line. Because that's a business decision. I want to be back in here and fight the next day. And I can't do that if I just had a 300-pound dude just slam me into the ground. So you know what? It's okay. It's okay to protect yourself.